Greetings from Highway 1 in New Zealand. I am on the Kaikoura coastline. If you can see behind me, the light's not brilliant. Been back in New Zealand about 1 week, and I am on my way back up to Gisborne via Auckland after spending a few days down in Christchurch, which is our old home where Ellie and I met. It's where Ayla was born, and if you've been following along, you'll know that while we were in Asia, we sold our house and kind of went all in on this digital nomad life. So this all concluded while we were absent, and I'm very grateful. Some friends of mine cleared out some possessions that were in our loft space in our house, and this included a bunch of children's clothing, maternity wear, some toys, a bunch of baby stuff, and also some old, personal items of photos and things that Ellie and I have accumulated separately over the years, and a whole bunch of kitchen stuff. And well, I didn't know all of this was there. I knew the maternity and the baby stuff was there, but I didn't, and I knew some kitchen stuff was there, but I did not realise how much. There was garden tools there. There was a whole bunch of stuff that now we have not been touching or using this stuff for nearly 2 years. It's like, I don't want any of this. This is a burden. This is heavy. And so I'm very grateful to my friends that they just said, look, we will keep it and we will dispose of it. And what they meant by that is they would put it to use. And for example, there was a whole bunch of pots and pans and everything to set up a kitchen, because we was using everything before we left, and it's all perfectly good stuff. Pots, pans, plates, glasses, knives and forks, cutlery. There was a vacuum cleaner, there was storage items, and a whole bunch of stuff. And they have a son who is just gone out into the workforce. Probably he's still living at home, probably a little bit early for him to go flatting, but you could tell that they were like, we don't have to give it away, we don't have to sell it, we could just store this ourselves now, and then when their son is ready to go flatting or get his own place, he's got a whole bunch of stuff that sort of costs a lot of young people a lot of money to get going. And anyway, so I left it to be their call as to how long they were willing to let it gather dust, but the agreement was that it's yours, and as long as we know it's being used or is going to be used, then we kind of feel the trade-off between them helping us out and we don't have to sell it and we don't have to get rid of it. That's a payoff, and there's this light feeling. I mean, so I'm driving a vehicle one way from Christchurch to Auckland that I've got enough time to drop off. I could go detour via Gisborne and empty the back of this. It's a people carrier, it's about 8 seats, and I've kind of filled up all the seats with what was in the loft, or like half of what was in the loft that I still wanted to keep. So as I say, that was the Ellie's maternity clothes, a bunch of baby paraphernalia, there's a baby bath behind me, and this sort of stuff, and our personal things like photos and a couple of sentimental things from our past. So I'm happy to keep those. I'm not quite sure where we're going to store them. We do have a storage unit up in Gisborne, but we want to get rid of that. So it's a process to do that. So here I am. I'm driving one way, and I will reach Gisborne. I will have a day in Gisborne where I can unload this at Ellie's mum's, and we will, she'll probably panic, and so we'll need to work out how we're going to offload that. and then we've got to work out how we're going to offload the whole of the container. Now we know there's furniture in there, and when we left, nearly 2 years ago, we, specifically me, I wasn't ready to let go of some of that because I didn't know if we were coming back or whatever. And now we're not. Now the baby's due soon. As I'm recording this, the baby's like 7 or 8 weeks away, and unless anything sort of traumatic happens, our family consensus is we want to go back on the road. We want to be minimalist. It feels light, it feels free, and that hasn't changed. And it's interesting, I was talking to Ellie on Skype while we've been apart for these few days, and I said, how'd you feel to be home? And she said, it's good to be home, but I'm also feeling like a little bit out of place, a little bit uncomfortable. And I can resonate with that. I've been back in Christchurch where we lived for, I lived for 12, 13, 14 years, and that's where I met Ellie, and she'd lived down there a long period of time. And, me driving this and our stuff away and saying goodbye to the other stuff, and I caught up with a bunch of friends, but we don't have any ties down there anymore. And who knows if and when we'll ever return there. But I'm not crying at that thought. I love Christchurch. It's a cool place. We didn't leave because it was not a nice place. But now we've kind of opened our life to different opportunities, and they come with risk, and they don't come with any security. But this kind of feeling that this is what we need to do has started to be reinforced, because when I was in Christchurch and I caught up, sorry, it's not just Christchurch, we was in Auckland too before I was in Auckland together before I went down south, and we talking to people who are still pursuing their dreams and living good lives in these cities, which are amazing places to live. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but look at this ocean. This is New Zealand. This is the east coast. This is the Kaikoura coastline on the way up to Picton. This is stunning. This is where people come to watch whales. People save up all their life to come to this part of the world, and this is our home. I'm proud to be a New Zealand citizen. I wasn't born in this country, but this is where I call home. And yet, despite that, we want to go travelling, and we want to sort of put ourselves into developing nations and live as locals and experience these different things. But all I can give you is it just feels right. But partly what I was prompted to record this video is while I've been back in New Zealand, and we've only been back a week. We landed a week ago, and I've been in Christchurch on my own for a few days, and I have heard people who on the surface look like they're living their dream lives use words like feeling like they're trapped, and I was dumbfounded. This trapped is not a word we hear a lot in life, and to hear more than one person, they are living a good life. These people are successful in their careers. They're living in nice houses, and not just nice houses, really nice houses. They're not career people who are just treading, going along a pathway. These people have worked really hard to get where they are. I've watched their ups and downs, and they're radical thinkers. They're not conformists. They dig deep. They're purpose-driven people. And then they use these words just right out the blue about feeling trapped on one level. I mean, it's just on one level, but that was a shock. And I was like, why? Why are they trapped? And I can only assume that the achievement and the trappings of these achievements is encumbered the right word? Is encumbered them with something else that they were not expecting. And yeah, I know that there are elements of them that would like to travel. Now, I don't know if that's related to what we've done or whatever, but yeah, there's no way we can compete with them. And it was not about competing, but there's no way we can. Yeah, we're not on the parallel paths and that sort of thing. So I don't know deep down if that desire to travel exists then, and they're not, and now because of what they've achieved and the trappings that have come with that achievement has now trapped them. But it crosses my mind, and so it's left me wondering how many other people must feel like this, and why do they feel like that, and what about those ones who feel trapped? You know, if you feel trapped and you haven't reached that level of success or contentment or, you know, goals and desires, so now you haven't reached what you're yearning for and you're feeling trapped, that cannot be a good place. So I don't know what the answer is, but there has to be one. There has to be one. We certainly feel freer than we've ever felt before. Trapped is not a word. You know, financially we're still working hard to turn the corner and go on the upward curve, and we can see that. I'm enjoying this ride. I'm listening to some podcasts that's getting me real focused. With Ellie, due to be a mum, she can focus on being a mum, and so there's going to be like a shift in our balance of Ellie taking on more of the parenting responsibilities, me taking on more of the business side of things. That's definitely going to be a result of where we're at right now, and I had a chance to listen to some podcasts, which is great, and they just, you know, I'm getting into real nitty gritty now. It's not big picture stuff, it's like some real little steps that I can act on straight away, and I'm like very, you know, some of these things are all bubbling in the background, and another little notch moved, and you know, it's a good way to use my driving time, and once I can park up and can implement some of these things, and even now just recording this as part of you know, one of my commitments has always been about commitments this year, and it's about doing more video. So here I am. We've invested. This is a new phone that I'm recording off. I've you know, if you could see how I've done this, I've hacked together a tripod in the front seat of the car, and I've made it sturdy, and I've got a tripod sitting in the passenger seat, and hey, so yeah, just to take the moment, yeah, how else can I use this moment? So anyway, I digress a little bit, but we are not feeling trapped. We are feeling light. Yes, we have work to do and challenges to overcome, but I'm sitting here feeling light, ready to fly. I'm not sitting here feeling trapped. And is that because I've learned to live out of a suitcase? I don't know. But if you've watched this far and the word trapped is resonating with you on any level, I challenge you to analyze why. What bit of you is feeling trapped, and why? And is there anything that you could do that would make you feel less trapped, or lighter, or less heavy? For example, possessions. Are there any possessions that you're just not using, you know, that someone else could use, and you could take pleasure in gifting those possessions to someone else. Yeah, could you do that? Would that make you feel lighter? I'm using that as an example because I know that worked for us, and we've evolved on that. It's like what I've just taken out of the loft. There was actual real pleasure in saying to my friends, all of this I do not need going forward. Even if I may need it, like the kitchen stuff, I don't want to even burden myself with that, and I'm going to release it right here, right now with you. If you, based on what you've told me, that you're willing to carry, you know, they've offered to unburden me of that, and Ellie, of that responsibility to put it on Trade Me, or, you know, if you're listening from anywhere else other than New Zealand, like eBay or whatever, they have unburdened me. These friends are beyond value because they can get value out of it, and I don't want it. So that's got to be a win-win. So, and then on the way out of town, I dropped into some friends of ours that we haven't seen. They've had a baby since we've been away. Unfortunately, I could only see the father, and mum and baby were on the road. But he said the same. His business is taking off, but now he feels I was sharing with him that these people had shared the trap thing, but he's like, in 5 years' time, we want baby number 2, and we want to go. And I've got to get rid of this, this, and this. And just the other day, we cleared out container A, container B, and shipped it off to the city mission and the charity shop and those sorts of things. So you could tell there was a lightness in him, and there was a lightness looking forward. So yeah, I'm kind of gobsmacked. I haven't seen that many people, and this burden of weight is on people and on yeah, so can't be isolated, and this is people who are moving ahead. So anyway, I'm in a bit of traffic, but it might be time to go back to my podcast. So yeah, trapped is a strange word. I haven't heard it for a long while, and then suddenly it comes out the blue, and comes out the blue and makes me think. So if that word is simmering somewhere in your consciousness, then go take some action, do something small, and see if you feel lighter. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, leave a comment, tell me how you feel and what it meant for you, and if you want to come back for more, remember to subscribe. So okay, over and out from me, from the Kaikoura coast here in New Zealand, and all being well, you will see more, and give me your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Watch this space. Bye.